Hi, this is part 32 of Write That Novel. I'm Carol Hallberg, the author of A Brush with Mortality, available at Amazon and booksellers everywhere. And today I'm going to be talking about voice, the author's voice, and how to nurture your natural voice. In style, the characteristic way of applying technique is the appearance of the writer. If that's true, then voice is the soul. I also like to think that the writer's voice, I like to think of it as being the sound of the storyteller that's inside you. This is the natural, raw impulse to tell stories that actually many children possess. Fiction is a dialogue between the writer and the reader. And although the final product requires much shaping, that impulse to tell a story is the first important reaching out to the reader. You probably have friends who can charm you with a tale of taking the bus downtown. They're expressing that impulse. Others, they just don't have it. They can't tell a story, and no matter what they're talking about, it's going to sound boring, even if they're talking about a riot that they just experienced. I believe that writers naturally have that storyteller's voice or impulse. They may need sometimes to practice tapping into it. I suggest that writers imagine themselves, if you need to, writing to a real or invented friend. Imagine an audience that is both sympathetic and loved. That's one way to kind of help you find that voice of yours. A complementary approach can be to draw from your personal life or heritage. Experiment with the speech rhythms, relatives who speak English as a second language, or try and use language of your relatives, maybe your kid sister or your older sibling, maybe your grandparents. Something that interferes with the sound of our natural voice is the belief that we need to write like writers. That comes from going to school. Messages like don't start sentences with conjunctions, use your thesaurus, all of that stuff. I think that prevents you from finding your voice. There's a book, let's see, I'm going to probably say it wrong, and it's an old book. I think it's still in print. Thias Frank and Dorothy Wall wrote a book called Finding Your Writer's Voice. And in it, they say, your voice is how you write when you don't have time to be elegant. I love that. I spend a lot of time myself on the craft and getting sentences just right and so on, but that's part of my voice. That's part of how I write. The biggest step towards finding your voice is being willing to expose yourself on the page. It's scary as hell, but when there's absolutely nothing to hold on to, sometimes you find out you can fly. Not always, but sometimes. Okay, I'm Carol Hallberg. I am the author of A Brush with Mortality. It's available on Amazon and at booksellers everywhere online. You can also learn more about me at carolhallberg.com, and I will see you next time.